Hello, friends. Welcome. I am Ananda Rose. Thank you for joining me. For those of you watching on Light Language Messenger, you're very welcome here as well. Well, friends, I hope you're well. And I'd love to hear how you are navigating right now in this time and space. After all, we've just had the total lunar eclipse, full moon, Mercury has gone retrograde, and all the other things we've been hearing about. But today, friends, I am here not to talk about those things, but just to say, share with me what your experiences are post all of these things beginning in this month of March. Now, today's video is about a topic that has got me wondering recently about how this is viewed in a fifth dimensional way. And what I'm talking about, what my topic today is about being overweight, being fat, as people refer to it, being chubby, as people talk about it. Now, I want to say, firstly, I have a suggestion, but it is not something that says go do that many push ups or try this drink every night before you go to bed or whatever it is. It is something esoteric, obviously. However, what I would like to say is I think all the work, well, not work, but all the videos that have been coming out from so many people in terms of self worth, loving yourself, self reflection, all of that, it is heading towards this thing of self acceptance. And I hope speaking to those people that ridicule people who are overweight, speaking to them as well, because ultimately at the end of the day, the question is, what is this being doing here on earth? Whatever the size of the body. Okay. And so I felt intuitively that I needed to talk about overweight. I needed to talk about fat. I needed to talk about chubby, big, those words we use to describe people who are, well, overweight. So that's what this light language transmission is going to be about. And I'm going to do a short commentary before it. As always, I say a lot, I talk a lot. Anything can happen on this show. Let's start with our clearing, and then we will talk about this and bring in a light language transmission. I haven't brought my feather, and I need my feather. Okay, I'm just going to turn around here and get it. There we go. Okay, I've got Baxter sitting here looking very accusingly at me because we haven't gone out to walk as yet. And he's a very patient dog, and I'm really blessed to have him because he's obviously waiting. There's nothing else he can do but wait, but he's okay about it. I was guided. There we go. He just got off the couch. I was guided to do this before I went out today. I did the recording yesterday. I reviewed it and I wasn't feeling exactly wonderfully happy about it. And then I was sitting in meditative time in my meditation, and I was hearing all these words that I could use and the perspective, that the angle we put this in perspective on. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, teams of light, of all those that watch, all those that will watch it in the next 24 hours, but all those that will watch it in the next 3 years, all those that will watch it beyond this time frame. We welcome those that find this in the right time and the right space, because we know that this will go on for many years to come, that these messages will appeal to many coming into this space. And I don't mean just this one, but I mean every one that we've ever done on Ananda Rose and the Great Awakening Generator prior to this. Breathing. Kiramatsua, Wikanatu, Rahelo Kucharana, Kurla, Surla, Savannah, to Olamaka, the Baskur, Aishten, Naku, Yermakuso, Samakatu for Anahai, Tamarahai. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. We just want to say thank you, graceful, thank you. Love, light, namaste, okulumaiti, na tsululibihi, tulabahi, tunamastufra. Thank you for everything. Universe, guides, beings that are here to support us, galactic beings, angelic realm, orenlahe, orela mahitur lechina kutafarnaka chilabakitukurma, azulibitskurma, aturkiriskava, unachafo. Right. So, why are we talking about overweight? We're talking about overweight because in the last week and a half, I've had various interactions with people, and this has been a topic. I wondered then, how do the how does it fit this thing of overweight and fat and chubby and big? How does it fit into the esoteric world? Into the, yeah, how does it fit into that? Because, right now in our world, so many of the things we believed in and trusted in as just coming to pieces, as in, like, actually, no. Like when you hear about certain sicknesses that there's been a cure for since the 1920s, and but still nobody's used it. Nobody's brought that forward because, well, because there was, if you went the other way, then there was a lot more to be had, as in making profit, right? For example, these days I find it hard to trust things I just received. Like a friend of mine ordered xylitol from this company that sells them at a very reasonable price, and she ordered a kg for me, and I had it in my coffee this morning, and I thought, oh, I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure that this could be xylitol. What if it's something detrimental for me? That kind of thing. So we have to, I think, come into, okay, what is the higher meaning of the things that we are experiencing? And yes, when it comes to chubby, overweight, fat, because that is a word, what does it mean? What is it for us here and now? What does it look like in the fifth dimension? Right. So I started to think about that, and I didn't think I'd be talking about weight. I don't usually talk about weight, and I want to say, firstly, I have been overweight in my life. I have been considered fat in my life. I was a child, born at being born, the weight at birth was 3.9 kgs, and I was always considered a fat child in my family. And I was chubby. I have these chubby cheeks. You'd see some pictures of me and think, whoa, Rose, what a chubby checker. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but what a chubby kid. And I was cute though. Never mind all that. So I understand what it's like to hear comments about my weight. And when I was a teenager, like as I grew up, I sort of I lost that. I got slimmer. But then when I became a teenager, in my teenage years, I put on weight again, and I was like bigger in size compared to my older sister. And so in my community, people would ridicule that. They would say, "Oh my gosh, you eat a lot, Rose, compared to your sister. Oh, look at your sister. She's so slim. Why don't you take a picture, a page out of her book?" I have had all of those things. Also, I was very, I was like a girl that attracted attention because of the size of my body, the top part of me, if you know what I'm saying, because I don't really, this is not about talking about that aspect, but just saying. And I had lots of derogative comments from men in the in the area I lived in the community I lived in, because they have no filter with, like, if they observe a woman who's big breasted, they're not going to shut up. They're going to make a comment about it, right? That's the place I come from. And by the way, I come from Chatsworth in Durban. I was born in Chatsworth, and that's where I come from. So if you live in Chatsworth, Durban, South Africa, you understand what kind of comments I would have gotten. Yeah, just to say. So when I speak about weight and being fat and overweight and chubby, I speak about it from the perspective of having had it myself and having gone through that. Over the years, as I've become an adult, I've fluctuated. I haven't been radically overweight in my adult life. Even as a pregnant woman, I didn't put on much weight because that was my metabolism, right? So, but let's go back to the meaning of this being overweight and fat and chubby on earth right now. all this time that we have been on the planet, let's face it, right? Being overweight, being chubby is not okay, according to everybody. I'm not saying it's not okay. I have no problems with that. I have a lot of people in my world that I love that are overweight. And I love them not because of the size of the body. I love them because they are my people. Because I know their heart, because they are there's family members, they are friends, and so on and so on. This thing of overweight and making it a big issue needs to, I think, stop. And I'll say this, I'll say why. In the last 2 weeks, I've had, firstly, I was in a workshop, and a person in the workshop had talked about how they struggle with life and they struggle with their self-esteem issues. They are overweight. They're doing everything they can that they knowingly can to lose the weight, to be healthy. They don't eat a lot. They're not eating a lot of unhealthy, but they still have the weight. Okay. I listened to that and I thought, oh wow, that's interesting. Because this needs to shift for us that are moving, that are awakening. If you are awakening, you need to start looking at yourself and saying, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I'm going to give you a solution for what you can do to prevent the worry, to prevent the focus on it. It's very simple, and I hope you'll take it. But today I'll bring down a light language transmission with a light code that will help us to assimilate, to go within, take us over the threshold of self ridicule, and put us in a protective bubble where people that need to make comments will just know to shut up. Because ultimately, that's what needs to happen. That's what I feel. Yeah. The other thing was, a few days ago, I was speaking to somebody who's had a family member pass away rather tragically in childbirth. And the person was just like 26 years old when this happened. And this was in recent times, in the like last 4 years. What I didn't know about, I know about this happening when it happened. I was very distraught about the whole thing myself. Because when a young person passes away in childbirth, you don't think that this happens in modern day, but apparently it does. And I guess it's saying, that that's a reality, that being on earth means that it still continues in some way, shape, or form somewhere in the world. Okay. But this last few days ago, when I spoke to the person, I got to know a little bit about the person who passed away and what her life was like. Sadly, as a child, she was overweight. She was overweight as a little girl. Growing up as a teenager, she was overweight. And in that time, throughout the years, was ridiculed for being overweight. But not just by the outside world, but by the very people that were meant to be her protectors, her family, her parents. They had an attitude about overweight people, and they continuously commented, watched what she ate, commented on it, and so on and so on. It broke my heart to hear that sometimes she would say, I wish I could die. And then it actually happened to her. At a time when she was looking forward to being a mother. That is gut wrenching. Why do I bring these situations to the forefront when I'm talking about weight? Why? Because both these people had weight issues, and both the people I mentioned, without mentioning their names, had weight issues, and one has weight issues because she's still on the planet, but struggling so much based on what is being said, what the narrative is about weight and overweight and being fat. But the thing is, what are these people doing here? Serving? What is their plan? Those people that come with big bodies. Though all of us have been, there are very few people I know didn't put on weight ever in their life. Okay, and they just were always a balanced weight. There are very few people I know. And in fact, probably no one. But maybe two people that I've seen that go through life, even through the pregnancies or whatever. Even with men, there's one man I know, but he smokes a lot. So do you think maybe that helps him keep his weight down, no matter what he eats? There are some other people I know that the metabolism is so active that they can eat anything they want and they'll still maintain their weight. But having said this, all of us have been overweight at some point or the other. All of us have looked in the mirror at some point and said, "Oh, I think I could lose a pound or two, or a kg or two, whatever your measurement is." So, what are those people that remain constantly in that physicality of being considered to be overweight on Earth or fat on Earth? What is their purpose here? What could possibly be their purpose? I asked that question. And firstly, I don't actually care about what their purpose is as long as they know their purpose. That's firstly it. Also, if we are commenting on what people who are considered to be overweight are eating, what business is it of us? If someone is a certain shape, form in the body size, what has it to do with us? Quite often, people who are struggling with weight have got underlying conditions, like they have things like thyroid issues, for example. Right? Some people might have insulin problems because perhaps the insulin's not processing through the body or something like that. Why? It seems like, Rose, wow, you talk about all these other things. Why are you talking about this? But I have a reason and I'm getting there. I was in touch with somebody a few years ago who said to me that the planet she comes from, where her soul incarnated, or the last incarnation was, had people or beings there that their physicality was this big person, big, soft beings. And when you looked at her, she looked like this big, soft being. What if, dare I put it out there, that the physicality that people are in at the moment is because of the incarnation of a previous life or the initial incarnation in the cosmos? Also, every one of us is a teacher with the experiences we're going through. Every one of us is. When we experience something, we think, oh my gosh. Sometimes we think we're the only ones. And maybe in our world, we're the only ones. But what about that we are having these experiences so that we can empathize? What about the soul's agreement to come here and be in that physicality so that we can empathize? What about clearing the karma of something like that? Now, I put it to you. We are always speaking of operating from a platform of love and light, right? Love and light. So I put it to you, all of you that are operating from love and light as you confess. I ask you, what is your attitude towards people who are overweight? I ask you to search within yourself and ask yourself if it is something you have a block about. I look at it and I see, okay, the thing that I look at when I see somebody who's overweight, I hope, my thought is that looks uncomfortable. I hope they're comfortable. But what about that person that is comfortable? What about that person who cannot be any other thing than that? Because that is what they came to be here on the planet. And we, with all our programming and how we think people should look, are constantly ridiculing, constantly watching. I have a friend who, which I don't understand. My friend's Christian, and on occasion, I've taken her out to have dinner. In the years gone by, when she was lived in the area that I lived in, or I live in. And what was very interesting about it was we'd go out to dinner and we would get our meal, and she would always say, "Oh, this is too much for me. I can't eat all of that." Okay. And so I've ordered my meal, and I don't go out to eat often. So when I go out to eat, it's a treat for me. And when I've ordered something, and if I always order gluten free, whatever, right? Whatever the intolerances are. So I'm really going to love what I'm eating. I'm going to really enjoy it because I ordered it. And so I'll eat my food. And she'd say to me, "You're not going to eat all that, are you?" And I say, "Why?" "Oh, well, it's kind of a little bit without social etiquette to be eating all your food on your plate." And I think to myself, no. Did you tell that to somebody in Africa who's going through famine and starving? You know, all those adverts we see on TV? What do you think they'd say about this? And of course, I come from Africa, and so for me, it is important to value my food that is in front of me. I am grateful and I'm thankful for that meal that I have because I know there are people in the world that cannot afford that. Now, I know there's this thing of, okay, they're creating their reality, and we know that because we know of all the programming and everything. But when you have a plate of food in front of you, be so grateful that it's a plate of food that you have because somewhere in the world, someone does not have the luxury of that. What about thankfulness? What about thankfulness? And I brought it in front of me and I can eat this food. We thank God. We say grace. We thank God for food. And then, this is my Christian friend, right? I wouldn't have given her that speech, but these are all my thought patterns when I think about that. It incenses me because when I think about that, I think we've just thanked God for this food. But we're saying, oh, we're not going to eat all of it because socially that's unacceptable. And also, well, we're worried about our weight. And if we eat all our food, it might look like we are pigs who wolf down their food and don't care about the body. This too is not true, right? Food is about nourishment. Food is about nourishment, about enjoyment, about camaraderie, about conversation, about spending time together. It's about that and so much more. I just name a few things. So, today, I would like us to get together, all of us, in this light language transmission, to just tune in. Not if you are not having, if you have a beautiful body according to Earth standards, if you have a body that is acceptable according to Earth standards, hold space for those that don't have that kind of luxury. Now, I am in no way encouraging people to overeat. I am in no way encouraging us to be unhealthy and eat anything and everything that comes our way. What I am talking about today is us that have an attitude about weight and overweight. It is something that we have to think deeper on, I believe. I think it is something that we have to release judgment on. It is something that we have to say, if it's not affecting me, I am not judging that, be it verbally, be it in your thoughts. But what I'm going to say is everyone has a part to play here. If somebody we've all been overweight at some point or the other. I'm still going to say that. We all have been overweight at some point or the other. We know what that feels like. We know what it looks like. Some of us like it. Yeah. But I was as thin as a rake in my early 20s. And then after having had my daughter, I went back to being thin as a rake. A few years, she was probably about 5, 6 years old. I put on some weight and I thought, oh, I like this look better. Because some of the photos of me, if you see them, you'll think, wow, that's not a good look, Rose. I love that we have the ability to change our world. If you are not happy with your body, as in you think you need to lose weight, it is up to you, right? If I want to do that, it's up to me. And what I'm saying is, please, I'm encouraging, leave all those thought patterns, work on meditation. That is the key. You know that 11 minutes and 11 seconds or the 10 minutes of meditation in the morning? Please do that. Do it for 30 days. And just try not to be on a diet. Just being on a diet is eating a balanced meal plan. Really, diet is about that, right? Eating a balanced meal. Think about what you eat. Make sure that this is a balanced meal that brings nourishment and fulfillment to your body. Think about eating organic food because that's important, very much so. It's always been important, but it's become more and more and more important now than ever before, that we are sure about the fruit we eat, the vegetables we eat, where it's coming from, all of that. Get involved with knowing about your food, what you're eating. What are you drinking? Is it carbonated drinks, right? Is it water? Water can help people lose weight if that's what they want. Now, I'm not encouraging you to go, I'm not saying you must go lose weight. I'm just saying if you're not happy with it, right? If you want to look and feel better. But here again, this video is not about telling people how to lose weight. I'm pointing out that I'm encouraging you to have balanced meals. I'm encouraging you to be in tune with your body so you know what works for you, right? Because what might work for one person is not necessarily going to work for me, because all of us have, our bodies look the same. It has all the parts and all of that and the organs and everything. But we are very individualistic, and we found that out more and more. We are very individualistic when it comes to our eating needs, our nourishment needs. We found out that more and more as we are going through the ascension process. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Now, I want to stop it there because I don't really want to be talking more about food, because the message has to be clear. This is about bringing a light code for all of us so that our ideas and our judgment of people that are overweight needs to stop, because we have to be in a neutral space. It's nothing to do with us. Also, bringing a light code in for those people that are overweight and not accepting themselves, hating themselves, letting the narrative of the world, the programming of the world about weight determine or dominate their thought patterns about themselves, right? And not accepting themselves. But the key to all of this, I believe, is that 10, 11-minute meditation in the morning. Do it for 30 days. Leave everything aside. Eat healthy food, eat a balanced diet. Drink water, because water is great. And drink more water in the diet than less, be it hot water with a bit of lemons, a squeeze of lemon in it, be it cold water, but purified water. Okay? And apart from that, just tune into the guides of what it is that you feel about yourself. Fall in love with you again. View yourself as your higher self views you. Okay? And that's my encouragement today. That's my encouragement today. Also, bring in some guardians, some angels, archangels that will prevent these negative conversations that happen in your world. It's a very huge, intense, deep topic. It's got so many facets to it. People are so affected by it. Relationships are so affected by it. I believe that this that we're going to do now is going to be a catalyst to start healing all those other things that are branches off this overweight, fat, chubby, heavy, big issue that Earth has adopted. That attitude that people on Earth has adopted as not acceptable here. I know some people that are the most active people, are not lazy, that eat, well, maybe they're eating because they're so busy with work that maybe they don't eat properly, but still cannot shift their weight. Is it possible that that person has come to have a life here with that kind of body, and that's the acceptance of it? I put it to you. Friends, let's do our light language transmission, and then I can take Baxter out for his walk. Let's breathe again. Feet firmly planted on the ground. We're going to bring in 2, maybe 3 light codes. The one of self-acceptance. The one to reprogram the mind of anybody who is overweight. Cause all those programs go running in their mind of non-acceptance, not okay to be here, all of that to come to a close, because we want all of that gone. Yeah, the self-acceptance is very important. And then for the collective, as a collective, for us to change our minds when we not change our minds, for us to stop our judgment on overweight people. Horamaho, horamaho, still sitting, feet firmly planted on the ground. Let's take 3 breaths. My hands are in Gyan Mudra. The finger, the forefinger, I think it's the forefinger, and the thumb touching like that, and the others standing straight up. If you were sitting, then it will be like this, okay? But the Marakota Franahai, Tuberleket Shubarakurumasko Frana, Gyan Mudra for wisdom. In Tabarulo Bakutura la 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 Shulgula Gratanantur la la Dokotur Lavatur Lakralamatsukrela Rutum. He Warana Waka Wata Wulakatur Laktufa. Why he Wakala to Furkitur Lamatsuanatem. Urkatsuku, Rakitsura, Lakatsur, Lakatur, Matsu, Wakatsa. The light code coming down is a teal blue with a gold patterning running through it. It is now coming into all of our fields. This is the light code for all those that come into that aspect of I am overweight and I need to lose weight. Those people that are ridiculing themselves for the weight, for the size of their body here on the planet. It is coming in and it's flowing through, and it's coming into all the fields, coming through the stellar gateway. This time and space when Mercury is in retrograde, Telephony, the higher aspect of Mercury, is working with us. And Mika, my dragon from Mercury, is with us. We are reinterpreting all the communications, taking all those communications of low vibration and turning them into high vibrational communications, reinterpreting them for the greatest good of all mankind, for the greatest good of all beings, for the greatest good of this planet. Where this is going back deep into the recesses of all of our minds and hearts to say that programming is so deep, we are now releasing, being released. It's going into our DNA and our fields. It is going into our cells, and it's removing all that thought pattern. Receive the light code going through your fields. And as you receive that light code, start to breathe again. Take 3 breaths. What's him? The next light code is coming through from the High Council of the High Councils. This is who has approached me in the last 6 months. I had a dream. I was taken up to them in a dream space, and they have said in the last week that this is the time that I start bringing in channelings from them. So this is a message to all of us. And the light code is coming from the High Council of the High Councils, as I said. Ansara wakaru teau. Atsara khawete wena wametum. Ewena toa heye weom. Urana tewe khore tewe tewena tum. This is for all of us and our attitudes about food. About the amount of food people eat or we eat or other people eat. Taking away the judgment. Yeah, this is Leia from the High Council of the High Councils. Wawela wata wana tana wela melela khorana tu damato wo awe this is a blue and gold again, but it is a onomateto frana. It's a very deep gold. I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay, but this is a gold, a thick gold. And blue with sparkles in it, gold with golden star sparkles in it. And it's coming down side by side in a column, and it's just flowing. It's flowing into our energy fields. All of us. Going through all the chakra column. Going through the whole chakra column, going into our fields and our bodies. Imagine melted gold and melted blue gold. And it's a korita waxia. Wella, mahui, subahu, zavazora, mahuewa. This is a different blue. The blue is a royal blue. Oh, but very distinctly separate columns of colors. The light code is coming in. It's like a syrup flowing into our fields and just going in. And healing all of us who have an attitude that is negative towards overweight. Overweight people. Nati Koranati, and it's saying we are carrying this from generations. Be the generation, be the way shower that clears this for the ones coming through in the future. Take a deep breath again, beloveds. This time, it's a very interesting light code that's coming in for healing and soothing. It's a pale blue. It's white. They all have these diamond sparkles in them. And there's a bit of a peach orange coming through. Lele shtakuruleno tsuru. Natsurle meke watsachaya when after you've gone through all of that, just bringing in all these light code, this light code with all these different colors in them. and the golden stars, and there's some diamond stars, just releasing into your fields in your body, just healing you, healing you, healing you, healing you. Feel yourself rejuvenating, rising up again, being the new you, coming in, gone through that transmission and being the you that's going to walk out into the world and just view it with new eyes, new thoughts, new ears, new attitude. So as you absorb that light code, I thank you, beloved friends, for watching. Please go and ground yourself, have some water. And let us be the way showers of how the attitude of bodies and responses to bodies, views, thought patterns about bodies changes in the future and moving into the fifth dimension. Imagine living in a world where people are different sizes and shapes and heights, and we do not call them names because of that. Because we look at them and we see the high being that they are, the great being that they are, the beautiful being that they are, and that they have come here to be in that form to teach something. And also that, many have come in the form and are presenting themselves in the forms from the other planets they come from, the other star systems they come from. Yeah? Makes sense, right? So much love and light to you, beloved ones. I'll catch you next time. Namaste.